Hello there, everyone! This is Quiversee, and welcome back to Pikmin! Well, now that we have gone through the entire game, before I go on to trying out challenge mode, I mentioned before that I was going to want to show a couple of things that I haven't done in the main game, which is to say a couple of enemies that I never got to encounter. And the funny thing is, I was originally going to make a new file for it, but it turns out I don't have to. Because there was a feature in this game that I wasn't really aware of. So, I went into the menu, right? And I was like, I want to do something else that would require me to copy this. And before I even looked at the copy erase buttons up there at the top, which, by the way, file 3 here is literally just a copy of file 2, because you can see they're identical. But before I even touched that, I noticed the plus and minus buttons, right? I can literally go back in time with this thing. I had no idea this was something I could do. So if I go back to, say, day 8... that went back a little further than I would have liked, but it does give me an opportunity to showcase our first enemy that I have yet to encounter. Because, remember how when it was going over the Mamuda, and I said this was something I thought was in the impact site? Well, I was right. But the problem was, I came here too early. So, the impact site is interesting because it is the only place in the game. Well, I guess the Distant Spring already kind of proved us wrong on that. I'm just grabbing 100 blues because, but it has an enemy that can. It has a spot which has different enemies depending on what day you're in. So I just want to grab. This'll do. Nothing but leaf and bud blues. And there is a reason why I am isolating the flowers out of the group. It also helps with having a smaller group up here. So yeah, you can see that up there where there was nothing before is our Mamuda friend. Turns out, he doesn't appear until day 8 or later. And he's just a peaceful little stone dude. Look at him. He ain't hurting nobody. He just wanders around, minding his own business. But if I attack him, he gets mad. And what's he do when he gets mad? He stomps the ground. And if you'll notice, every Pikmin he stomps immediately transforms into flower Pikmin. So this guy, you do not want to kill him. Because he is actually helpful to you. Granted, he's not doing that because he likes the Pikmin. He does like the Pikmin. He's doing that because he recognizes that I ordered the Pikmin to attack him. And is trying to attack me. Because he wasn't chasing the Pikmin. He wasn't trying to attack them. He was going for Olimar. He's actually kind of intelligent in that way. He also seems to be really good at healing, because he healed a bit there. But of course, like any other enemy, you can attack him and kill him. Also, Olimar kind of got planted in the ground there himself for a minute, which is kind of funny. But yeah, he can kill Olimar, but he cannot kill Pikmin. He can only plant them in the ground. And while it can be a little annoying to have to pick them back up out of the ground, I get Olimar out of the ground, this is a really good way to turn your Pikmin into flowers. So yeah, the Mamuda is a really fascinating creature, and this is the only place he spawns. But like I mentioned, he's not the only thing that can appear here. But in order to see that, we're gonna have to come back on another day. So I'm just gonna pluck these blues and skip ahead to the next day. Okay, so now I'm back in the impact site on day 9. One day after I went with the Mamuda. Once again, I'm gonna get 100 blues. Although, unlike with the Mamuda, this is a conscious decision. Because in order to deal with what we're about to see today, we need blues. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get to flower all of them through Mr. Mamuda, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, if you come here on an even-numbered day, after day 8, you get the Mamuda. But on an odd-numbered day, you get the Ghoulix! So the Ghoulix is a water-based monster, which is why you need blues. If you had non-blues going in here, they'd die. They'd drown. So what you want to attack is the little ball inside of them. Actually, I think you can attack both of them. Can I? No, it doesn't seem so. What are you doing? Actually, I think you can maybe you can throw onto it. Whoa, that did a lot! Okay, that did a lot of damage. And that's the Ghoulix. He's just an oddly rare creature that, honestly, I feel like he would have been right at home being a dangerous encounter in the Forest Navel, as I'm pretty sure that's where it was showing him in the little beastiary trailer. But that's all that I really want to show as far as that goes. But you know what? There's one more enemy left to see. And it's time for me to rectify a mistake I made. Alright. So now I have reset it to being day 9 following the initial playthrough we had going. This was the first day we had access to the distant spring. And this is where we can get to the egg. So, what I did wrong, as it turns out, you do need to approach the egg, but not attack it. That's what I did wrong. If you break the egg before it hatches naturally, you lose out on the encounter. So I need to clear the way to the egg, and then get close to it without touching it. I do, unfortunately, need to murder some Wollywog. I think I'm going the wrong way, actually, but I'm gonna kill this Wollywog just because I can. When life gives you a chance to kill a Wollywog, you just don't say no. I am very much going the wrong direction. Alright, Blues, we got ourselves our bloodlust on Wollywogs for the moment. Which way am I going? Wait, no, I was going the right way. I am confused. I am very confused, apparently. Over there. There it is. Big purple egg. So let us now witness the birth of the Smoky Progg. Maybe if I attack it, but then leave it. Oh, it shook. There it is! The Smoky Progg. I don't know how to actually fight this thing, I just know it is death. As you'll see, any Pikmin that get caught in its wake just die. They just straight up die. This thing is inherently toxic. That being said, I got one Pikmin on his face. But yeah, that black trail of inky death is a black trail of death, so we can't touch it. So the Progg basically just makes his way here and then stomps around our base. And he is very much a bit of a super boss, as it were. What are you doing, mister? What are my Pikmin doing? It's like I'm throwing them at him, but they're not sticking. I got someone on that puppy blowhog. There we go. Now I got some attackers. Ugh. I don't think I can swarm him either. Oh, I'm hitting the onion. That's what's happening. Yeah, if I swarm him, I don't get anywhere on him. If anything, I just lose Pikmin. He is a death machine. He is easily more deadly than Bulblax if you aren't careful. But far less durable. By the looks of it. Like I said, I have never actually fought the Smoky Progg. I knew of him, and I know what your prize is for killing him, but I've never actually fought him. Until now. I'm gonna get some reds out. Because I just want to kill him. At this point, it doesn't really matter. There's literally no consequence. I just want to do it. Come on. There we go. I'm losing Pikmin left and right, but I am dealing damage. Yeah, I should have switched to the reds earlier. Now we're getting... So I guess this is what you gotta do, is just get him in a situation where you gotta get him in a loop where he's just shaking him off. Because once I did that, he started actually taking some pretty serious damage. But in his death, he leaves behind a golden pearl. And just because I know what this allegedly does, I'm gonna bank all my reds. I said all my reds. That puffy blowhog is really annoying me right now. Alright. And how many Where did my blues go? Dang, blowhog really got some distance with that one. Darn it, Blowhog, I'm trying to do something here. Let me just go away. How many Pikmin does it take to carry this? I'm gonna guess 3. Called it. I want to put the rest of my blues away. There is a method to my madness, don't worry. Watch this. Quick, get in your onion. Woo! $100 seeds! I just wanted to see them all fly out of the onion. That was great. That was great, just to see that. But that pretty much covers it as far as encounters we haven't seen. So you know what? I don't want to jump straight into challenge mode, but I do want to do one last thing. Because similar to the Smoky Progg, I'm familiar with the other endings of the game, but I've only ever seen one of them before. And even then, I've only seen it like once. So I am going to do a little more save manipulation and see if I can't take a glance at what some of these other endings might look like. So I will meet you once I have done so. Okay, so now I have basically just skipped it ahead to day 30 without having collected any more parts. Before I go on ahead and push that final button though, I gotta say, there have been some interesting diaries going forward. So for example, here, yeah, it's talking about the oxygen that, you know, the creatures here breathe, but he can't because it's poisonous. Him, once again, wondering about why the Pikmin do what they do. Thinking how, when he came here, maybe he's the reason why they're fighting so much. Which is interesting. Maybe thinking that they were waiting for him because they need, like... They basically recognize that they need a leader, and they recognize Olimar as that leader for some reason. Apparently, while he was on his trip, he was actually on vacation, of all things, from his job when he got to crash landed here, which just makes us even more sad. And once again, you know, reinforcing what I mentioned at the ending of the end before, how the planet we're on is supposed to be Earth. Talking about how creatures of what would be to him incomprehensible size walking the planet. Because the scale of everything outside the Pikmin and some of the monsters he's had to fight have been outright absurd to him. But just some funny little bits into the lore. You know, just talking about how the Pikmin are sometimes a little more whimsical. Talk about the philosophy of his world and his people's lifestyle, how they allegedly come from the stars themselves, which is fascinating. Wondering why Pikmin do what they do again. Oh, that's the whimsical one. Wait, I kind of glossed past this one. Oh, this is talking about how some of them are smarter than others, some of them are faster than others. Basically saying that despite how all the Pikmin look alike, they are in fact still very much individuals. And this one saying how he used to be a repairman before becoming captain of his own ship. Like, some of these journal entries I've either never read before or I haven't read in so long that I have forgotten about them, but it's interesting that you get a little bit of extra story on Olimar through that. And then, of course, on the 29th day, he says that tomorrow is the last day before his life support goes kaput. So let's go on ahead and make it go kaput, shall we? And literally all I've been doing for over 10 in-game days is going to the distant spring, waiting for it to load, because it does take a bit. And I can't go straight to sunset on this day. I have to stand around and wait. Well, I guess I'ma stand around and wait then. I'll see you when the day is done. This is annoying. All right. We are in the final countdown to Olimar's demise. Oh! That's what that sound I heard before was. The flower sprouts wilt if you don't pick them soon enough. Huh! I never knew that. The day when my life support system falls has come. I have collected only 27 out of 30 ship parts. I have no choice but to attempt to launch the Dolphin into space, incomplete as it is. The ship doesn't need every lost part in order to fly. For better or worse, I must go. So this is what happens if you try to leave without all the necessary parts. Olimar just takes off straight away. No Pikmin to see him off. Well, okay, a couple of Pikmin. But he doesn't have time for ceremony. He has to just take to the space and pray. Blasts off. Trying to go into breaking the atmosphere completely. And he just crashes straight back down. So yeah, and this one I didn't get the generator thing that goes at the bottom and the piggy bank, of course. So we have to save it. But then you'll see the Pikmin actually found Olimar dead from lack of oxygen. Well, no, not from lack of oxygen, from taking oxygen. And they sacrifice him to the onion. And transform him into a doggone Pikmin himself. You know, now that I've seen what happens if you leave Pikmin sprouted for too long, how did Pikmin survive with no creatures to pluck them? If there was no creature to pluck the Pikmin, they can't get out of the ground on their own, it seems. Strange. But yeah, if you don't get out all the necessary parts in time, Olimar dies and becomes a Pikmin. But what if you have all the necessary parts, but not all the parts? Well, I'm gonna find out on that one too. So the Olimar Pikmin ending I have never gotten before. But the one I'm about to go for now, I did get the very first time I played through this game. because I seem to remember the first time I played through, I didn't quite make it through Bull Blacks. I don't remember exactly, but regardless, I'm just gonna get the 2 parts that I'm missing here today. I already know I can do it in a single day, and meet you back here once the day ends, so we can see how that ending differs. All right, we are now at the final countdown once again. This time I have procured the 2 remaining parts of the Distant Spring, meaning the only part left is the secret safe. So, we have all the necessary parts, but not all the parts. Let us see how it differs. Yep, he says the same thing, of course. Once again, he has no time for ceremony. He has to rush straight to the dolphin and take off without delay. I love the little bob at the end of the nose cone just snaps into place. But yeah, this cutscene is pretty much identical to what we just saw, it would seem. At least this part of it. But now, we see as the ship takes off for space and actually manages to depart. Olimar takes his leave, but the Pikmin do not take off in their onions to see him off proper. And I don't believe we get to see the Pikmin fighting off a Bulborb either, showing that they learned from their experiences with him. But otherwise, it's just Olimar managing to make it out. So, yeah, ultimately not that big of a special ending. Like, the real ending is getting all 30 parts. That's the real ending. Although getting this ending also at least gives you the credits. So, yeah, that's basically it. So, I think then with that, that's gonna pretty much do it for this part, unless there's something new that comes on with these credits, which I don't think there is. But I will just see you next time on Pikmin then, when we're going to tackle Challenge Mode. Which, I know what it is, but I have never done it in Pikmin 1 before, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.